It is my great pleasure to introduce the featured speaker of this year's English Department Gathering, 2012 Caldwell graduate Sara Courtney. You know, we're extremely proud of our majors, and though we are always happy when they go on to do amazing things, we are not really surprised. What can we say, though, about an English major who went on to work with Jon Stewart at The Daily Show, who held the post of graphics coordinator for 3 seasons of Saturday Night Live, who wrote jokes for David Letterman's opening monologue when he hosted The Late Show, who has published humorous essays in USA Today, who is currently at work on a children's book about Pluto, and who has done at least some of this while juggling 2 small twin boys. Okay, maybe not literally juggling 2 What can we say, Sara? There you are. What can we say, Sara, except that you are doing amazing things. And we are so happy to have you back with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Sara Courtney.
Hello. Congratulations to all of the students today. I'm sure you're eager to begin the next adventure in your lives, whether it is writing the next great American novel or the next daring political satire, for which you have plenty to work with. When Dr. Barone asked me to speak at this year's gathering, I felt gratitude and excitement to be included in this truly wonderful event, celebrating your successful year and all of the challenges you met. I know from personal experience just how much work you guys did to get here today, how much reading you were all assigned, how you carried so many books to and from class that now you all need a good chiropractor. I know how many late nights you spent writing and rewriting and then rewriting again, all those essays to get them just perfect, fueled only by your passion and probably a bag of Doritos. So I am grateful to speak to all of you because studying as an English major had a major impact on my personal and professional trajectory. Before coming to Caldwell, I was performing and producing stand-up comedy shows in the city several times a week, occasionally traveling to perform. Sometimes I wrote for other comedians, and eventually I started making a little bit of money. I just want to emphasize here a little bit of money. So I continued on this path until I came to feel creatively and professionally very frustrated. You see, I wanted to work in television, and this goal seemed about as reasonable as winning the Powerball or visiting the moon. I mean, I know it's been done. I know there are people who win the lottery, and there are people who make it to the moon, and then for some reason drive cars on it. I think those astronauts were men, but so I knew exceptional things happen to people, but other people. To me, breaking into television seemed an impossible task. It is a very competitive field, and I didn't know anybody in the industry. Essentially, I felt stuck. In the depths of my frustration and what began to feel like failure, I thought a great deal about my great aunt, Sister Vivian Jennings. Her name adorns the library here. She taught in the English department and was president of Caldwell and guided the school into becoming a successful co-ed institution. Every time I saw my aunt at a family function, she pressed me on what it was I was doing. What goals was I setting? Each time encouraging me to strive for something more. She is an ambassador for intelligence, faith, and achievement. And I thought, if someone is smart and accomplished as Sister Vivian Jennings believes in me, they'd better prove her right. So I enrolled in Caldwell. I was immediately struck by how many writing opportunities there were on campus. I was the editor of the Kettle newspaper. I contributed to the Calyx. I was extremely fortunate to write for Collette Liddy of Media Relations. But ultimately, it was in the English department where I began to feel my lofty dreams were achievable. Now, I chose to be an English major for several reasons. My older brother studied physics. My dad studied engineering, and my younger brother studied human physiology and now nursing here. So it was up to me to blaze the path of being terrible at math and science. Very bad. But more importantly, I loved reading and writing. I grew up in a home where misspelling or mispronouncing a word was basically a felony. As a kid, I once tried to impress my mom by using what I considered to be a very big word, subtle. Unfortunately, I pronounced it subtle. Yes, you can imagine it wasn't very subtle. Despite experiencing the kind of verbal dressing down from my mom that I imagine is only appropriate in the military, I realized I loved words. And when they are used correctly, I love the effect words can have on other people. That love of reading and writing was so encouraged and challenged by the professors here. I did not have one English course that I considered the easy A, and trust me, I loved it. Every professor demanded my absolute best. They exposed me to new literature and engaged me in critical thinking in ways that truly opened my world. It became a mission to impress these brilliant English professors, and that mission was balanced by a profound fear of saying something dumb in front of them and just watching their faces fall in disgust and disappointment. Because I considered them that smart and tough and engaging. To use a sports analogy, they were the 1927 Yankees, the murderer's row of English professors. Like just say something thought-provoking enough to impress one of them. Home run. With their encouragement, I applied for an internship at Letterman. When I was called for an interview, I was elated. But I knew hundreds of students had applied for this. Unsure of how to stand out and conscious of the fact that my professors were no doubt very busy, I went ahead and asked Dr. Barone, Dr. Colette Lindroth, my wonderful French history professor, Dr. Jeunesse, and Colette Liddy if they would write letters of recommendation for me. Now, I have a confession. I don't know if you're supposed to read these letters, so sorry. I was very nervous for my interview, so bear with my self-restraint. Let me just tell you, these letters contain some of the most encouraging, enthusiastic, and glowing words ever to be put on paper. I could be elected president off of these letters. That means much more. They gave me the confidence to sail through what turned out to be a 4-hour interview at Letterman. And after I got the internship, I was informed by the producer that my professor's words are what made all the difference. I went on to intern at Saturday Night Live, as well as The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Each show I interned for went on to hire me. It is no exaggeration to say the professors here changed my life. I have been extremely fortunate in my career. I have watched my icon David Letterman say my jokes on television. I've been given career advice by Jon Stewart. I received an Emmy certificate for my work at SNL, and I was part of the SNL 40th anniversary show. I helped with preparations for the 2015 White House Correspondents' Dinner when it was hosted by SNL cast member Cecily Strong. That was back when presidents went to those events. I even made Lorne Michaels laugh, although that was her bumping into him in a stairwell while trying to carry a pillow with a 6-foot ladder that was very heavy, so it doesn't matter. I've even sat in a script read-through with our current president, Mr. Trump. And most recently, I worked with National Geographic Adventurers and Explorers, highlighting stories from across the globe. In my performing comedy and in every television show I've worked for, I use the skills I gained as an English major here every single day. Television is an odd mix of routine and total chaos. There is never any behind-the-scenes well-oiled machine. Each episode of SNL that makes it to air is basically a miracle. A lot of what I do in TV requires blending the often opposing needs of creativity and practical production. I am always thinking on my toes, problem solving on the fly, and communicating effectively, often under intense pressure and deadline. It is basically a live version of the comprehensive exam. So I would encourage you all to consider all the industries you can flourish in with your English degree. There are so many of them. You could be an exceptional journalist or a speechwriter, or you can be the politician who inspires and frustrates us. You could apply your talents within film and television. You could work in fashion and travel all over the world on probably very little calories, but you can work in marketing, creating branded content videos that go viral. If you are really ambitious, you can even aspire to be as good at teaching English as your professors are. And for that, you have your work cut out for you. Now, I can report as someone from the real world that shockingly, other than BuzzFeed or the Huffington Post, people don't read, and they often cannot even write. So if you can simply communicate effectively and write an intelligent email, and I know you all can, you are light years ahead of so many others in the workforce. I am often asked how I got to work in the shows I have. Television is highly competitive, and many of my colleagues went to Harvard or Yale. Special, the people here are connected by a kindness and a determination to get out in the world and make it happen. And at the heart of this university is the English department. It is truly a gem. As you embark on your professional adventures, if you find you ever need help and are stuck trying to break through to the next level in whatever it is you pursue, if you find yourself thinking, I wish I knew someone who could help me, just take a look around this room. You know your professors, you know each other, you know me, and all the alumni who came before you. We are all rooting for you. In this very interesting time we live in, a time of presidential tweets and accusations of fake news and safe spaces, you are all very well equipped to use your minds and talents to challenge the world to change, to engage in discourse and ideas that are funny or heartbreaking, to make those with big egos uncomfortable. Get out there and provoke thinking, feeling, laughter, even perhaps action, so that the world outside this special place reflects its remarkable possibilities. I wish you all luck.